What if I told you that a huge piece of what we've all been taught about exercise for decades is kind of wrong? We're about to dive into a pretty game-changing scientific review that says strength training isn't just an option anymore. It's essential medicine.
I mean, think about it. For as long as I can remember, there was always one answer, right? From doctors, from coaches, from every magazine cover. If you wanted to be healthy, this was the one thing you had to do.
Yep, cardio. The treadmill, the elliptical, going for a run. But what if focusing so much on cardio meant we were only getting half the story? What if we were missing a massive piece of the health puzzle?
And look, this isn't just some minor update in the guidelines. We're talking about a full-blown scientific revolution, a fundamental shift in how we understand exercise that's pretty much irreversible at this point.
So let's look at how the thinking has changed. The old view, right? Strength training was for bodybuilders. It was this niche thing you maybe did after your real workout, cardio. But the new view, it's completely flipped. It's for everyone. It's not a supplement, it's foundational medicine. It's the primary signal you send to your body to get stronger and more resilient.
And this isn't just a general, it's good for you kind of thing. We're talking about specific, measurable outcomes. The research is showing that when it comes to actually treating chronic conditions, resistance training can go toe-to-toe with cardio. And in some cases, it actually wins.
Take a look at major issues like type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure. Resistance training isn't just a sidekick anymore. It's a powerful, therapeutic tool. It's becoming a key player in how we manage health clinically.
So, how does this actually work? Well, let's start with your body's actual structure. Think of strength training as a kind of mechanical medicine. It literally sends a signal to your body to rebuild itself, starting from the inside out, beginning with your bones.
I love this analogy. It's like a high-interest investment account, but for your skeleton. Every single training session is like making a deposit, building up this incredibly robust, fracture-resistant frame that's going to pay you dividends for decades to come.
And here's the cool science behind that investment. The mechanical stress from lifting weights literally tells your body to wake up its bone-building cells. They get to work laying down new, dense bone tissue. This is so important because walking or jogging just doesn't provide this same unique signal. You need this specific kind of load to really strengthen your skeleton.
Okay, so stronger bones. That makes a lot of sense. But here's where things get really interesting and a little counterintuitive. It turns out that getting stronger can also make you better at endurance.
How? Well, it all comes down to something called running economy. Strength training actually makes your muscles and tendons act like more efficient springs. Every time you push off the ground, you get more energy back. That means you waste less effort with every stride, so you can keep your pace for longer without getting so tired. It's about building efficiency, not just raw power.
All right, beyond your bones and your performance, resistance training fundamentally rewires your body's whole energy system. And maybe the best way to think about your muscles is as a giant metabolic sponge.
So what does this sponge do? Simple. It soaks up blood sugar. Your skeletal muscle is the #1 place your body puts glucose after you eat. So, the more muscle you have, the bigger and more effective that sponge is. This makes resistance training an absolutely crucial therapy for your metabolic health.
The scientific term for this effect is a metabolic sink. Your muscles are literally a sink that helps drain away excess sugar from your system, and that is so critical for keeping your energy levels stable and for your long-term health.
And the benefits just keep coming. They don't stop at the physical stuff. Strength training also builds incredible resilience in your nervous system and in your mind.
Here's a super cool fact. When you first start lifting, you get stronger almost overnight, right? Way before your muscles have had time to grow. That's not magic. That's your brain and nervous system getting smarter. They're learning how to better recruit and coordinate the muscle fibers you already have. It's like a software update for your body.
Now this is critical, especially as we get older. We all lose muscle mass with age. But resistance training is our #1 weapon against this, because it uniquely protects our fast-twitch muscle fibers. These are the ones we need for power, for quick reactions, for catching ourselves before we fall. Keeping them strong is an absolute game changer.
And this age-related muscle loss actually has a name: sarcopenia. It's a huge driver of what we call frailty, and you guessed it, strength training is the single best thing we can do to fight it.
And finally, let's talk about the brain. Lifting weights helps regulate your body's main stress response system.
It also boosts a molecule called BDNF, which you can basically think of as fertilizer for your brain cells. Put that all together, and you have a powerful way to manage stress, lower anxiety, and just fight off that feeling of mental burnout.
Okay, so the science is overwhelming. It's compelling. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How do we get started? Well, the great news is it is way simpler than you probably think.
It really just boils down to 4 simple principles. 1. Be progressive. Just try to do a little bit more over time. That's it. 2. Be consistent. Aim for 2 or 3 sessions a week. That's plenty. 3. Focus on the big stuff. Compound movements like squats and presses and rows. And 4. Never forget recovery. Sleep and good nutrition, that's when you actually get stronger.
And that really brings us to the bottom line, the huge conclusion from all this research. Let this sink in for a second. Resistance training is no longer optional. It's foundational medicine. It is essential for your metabolism, your bones, your mind, and for aging with strength and vitality.
So that leaves us with one last really practical question. Forget about perfect programs or fancy gyms for just a moment. Based on everything we just talked about, what's one small thing you can do this week to start building your foundation of strength?